How's it going, my good friends of YouTube? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the markets are doing well so far today with about 4 hours left in the session. The Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, they're all up between 0.1 and 0.2%, but the Russell's not doing the best. The Russell's down 0.5% here, and we are seeing a decent spike in the metals. Silver's up 3%, gold is up 1.6%, and the VIX is down about 2%. So overall, pretty solid day. And in this video, like we do every day, we're going to break down some charts, my thoughts on the markets, stocks I'm looking at right now. So sit back, relax, go down below, snag your $50 from M1 Finance, check out my Patreon if you guys want all my real-time buys, sells, call-outs, a morning update video, and more access to me. All of that's on Patreon, link down below. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. So again, we have about 4 hours left in the session, and I typically don't film the videos this early. I like waiting until after the market closes, but I have to go somewhere at 1 p.m. today, and I'm not going to be back till probably 6 or 7. So yeah, we got to film the video early today, and I got to get it up for you guys. As always, I'm not missing an upload. That is a rule that I have with myself here. But anyway, as of now, with 4 hours left in the session, the markets are crushing it. SPY just hit an all-time high this morning at $445.85. We're trading well above the moving averages on the 20-day chart, and we've been breaking out. I mean, there's nothing new really to say at this point other than there's no real resistance ahead of us since we are at all-time highs, and the moving averages should act as support. You know, they have been, at least over the past couple of weeks. I mean, yesterday we saw a pullback pre-market. SPY bounced off that 50 moving average like clockwork. It ran up into the, for the rest of the day yesterday and into after hours and pre-market today. So for next week, I don't know about today, but for next week, maybe we do get a mini pullback here. Maybe we do go down and test that 50 moving average, maybe even the 180 moving average on the hourly chart. Maybe, big maybe. Or we might just see another leg up straight to 450 before seeing that pullback. But overall, bulls are 100% in charge. All-time highs are being hit, and I'm going to be watching those moving averages as support. I mean, there's nothing much else to say but that. And when it comes to QQQ, this one's also doing well. It's not at all-time highs quite yet. It's very close. It's about $1.50 away, but not quite yet. I mean, we're still struggling at 369, which was resistance end of July, also earlier in August. And one thing I'm noticing is, and we talked about this on YouTube yesterday, we're breaking out of the channel, the downwards channel that we were in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days. You guys can see we were trading within that, and we were under the moving averages for the most part within that 6-day, trading period. And now we're above the moving averages. We're above the downwards channel, and we filled the gap to about 369 earlier in the day, but now we're struggling there. So for next week, and for today for that matter, for the next 4 hours, I'm going to be watching a potential breakout of 369, and from there, and this will probably happen next week. I don't want to say for sure because nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, but I'm going to be watching for a 369 to break and maybe that leg up to all-time highs. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a stone's throw away from all-time highs. I mean, I'm talking 0.3%. That is nothing. I mean, the QQQ could do that in 30 minutes if it wanted to. And it could even happen today for all I know. We do have 4 hours left after all. That is a lot of time when it comes to the market. So what do you guys think? Drop me a comment down below if you all are enjoying the video so far. Make sure to also smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you're not missing any of the content. I guarantee you guys you'll find a ton of value here on this channel. And let's talk about now some stocks I'm looking at. We'll talk about a move I made today later in the video, so make sure you guys stick it through. But stock number one is CHWY, ticker symbol CHWY. And I don't like tooting my horn too much on the channel, but screw it. We're going to toot the horn today because this is a stock that I've been calling out not only on Patreon for all my Patreon members, but I've mentioned it here on the YouTube channel many times as well. We called out this inverse head and shoulder. It was clear as day. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And you guys can see we held the neckline at $75. That was about a month ago. We clearly bounced off the neckline. We broke back over the moving averages. And I mentioned to you guys, hey, if $88 breaks on CHWY, which has been the sticking point ever since the beginning towards the middle of March, that right shoulder in the inverse head and shoulder pattern is going to start moving and completing. And what do you know? We broke $88 10 days ago, and now we're at $95. We're up $7 per share from that point. In other words, we're up about 8%. And now we broke 94, which was the high point from the end of March when we had that one-off spike after earnings. So at this point in time, I think CHWY could go 100 plus. 100 is the next main resistance, 98 to 100. If that breaks, the sky's the limit. And no, it's probably not going to moon all the way to 200 a share. I mean, come on, guys, let's be realistic. But can it go to 105? 110, maybe 115 in due time, next couple of months? Absolutely, especially if earnings that are coming out on the 1st of September, so about 3 weeks. That's crazy. I can't believe it's almost September already. But yeah, this summer flew by. But anyway, if earnings are great in 3 weeks from now, CHWY's going to do well. Well, we'd hope, right? The stock will do well and follow that earnings report. It doesn't always do that, but most of the time it does. So we'll see. CHWY, it's looking great here. Coinbase is another one that I'm looking at. And if you guys saw my Patreon post yesterday, I bought more Coinbase. I think it was at 263, literally right where we are now. And yesterday, Coinbase dipped, which is why I bought more. I added to my position. And at this point, it's up about 3%. And I like the way we're holding 260. That's a very good sign. That's above both moving averages here on the 4-hour chart. And it's above the range of resistance, or not even the range. I mean, it was a one stable resistance at 260 from the end of June throughout the middle towards the end of July, even in the beginning of August a little bit. We struggled at 260. So the fact that buyers are stepping in here, that's a good sign. And I do believe they reported a great earnings, and that sell-off was a bit, I don't want to say it was overblown, because we did rally into earnings and after earnings a bit. So we just got some profit taking. But, I think it was a good idea, at least in my opinion, to add on the dip after that strong earnings report to bring my average cost down. Now it's in the 270s. So I like Coinbase here, guys. I'm a fan. This is probably, it is. I actually own more Coinbase than I do Bitcoin at this point. I really like Coinbase, and I could be an idiot. This could be wrong. It might not work out for me, but hey, I'm in it for the ride. I like the experience Coinbase provides, and I've been using them for 4 years, even though I haven't really bought much Bitcoin in the past couple months at all, to be honest. I've just been holding. But I still like Coinbase a lot. So I'm in that. I've been buying that recently. NVDA is another one that I'm looking at here, even though I think it should pull back to the mid-hundreds. Just because you think something, guys, in the stock market, just because you hope for something, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You can't always go based on what you want or what you hope. That's just a bunch of BS. Let's be honest. You have to trade what's in front of you at the end of the day and what the market is actually giving you. And in this case, the market's telling us, hey, NVIDIA, it wants to trade above the moving averages. It doesn't want to sell off quite yet. In fact, it wants to break out. That is what I'm seeing here. Ever since we saw the split, we got to about 180, and then we bounced from there. Above the moving averages, we saw a golden cross, and now with today's green day, we're up $2, up about 1%. We're trying to gun for those, for that main resistance, the top of this wedge, which I believe if 204, which is the top of the wedge, if that breaks, boom, we're going to see a launch pad probably to all-time highs, 210, maybe even higher on NVDA. And they report earnings in 5 days from now. So that should be interesting. So on second thought, I'm not going to jump into this until after earnings. That's one of my main principles, guys. I don't like trading before earnings, especially short-term stuff. So I'm going to wait until after they report, and we'll see what happens. Even if that means I miss out on profit, I'm okay with that, because yesterday, for example, when I traded out of SoFi, I bought it 2 days ago, or maybe 3 days ago. I bought it at $16.96, sold it the following day at $17.45, which was yesterday. So I bought it 2 days ago. Let's say I held SoFi. What would have happened? Well, I would have got smoked after their earnings report, because their stock is now down 13%. So if you don't trade earnings, you avoid these big drops. But again, you also miss out on profit, which it's okay. You got to live with that. I mean, if you want to manage your risk properly, you got to live with that. And trust me, I've been there. I've been the guy that buys shares before earnings. I've been the guy that buys options before earnings, and not longer term options a couple months out. I've been the guy that, let's say Apple reports earnings next Friday, I'd buy options for next Friday, weekly options. And that's very risky, guys, when you're buying calls in the very short term, because if you're wrong, guess what? You're going to lose most likely all of your money. I've lost 100% of my money on options many times, or at least 80%, 70%, which is just a devastating loss. So I'm over that. I'm past that part of my trading career. I've eaten the losses. I've been there, and I've learned my lesson. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I'm in. And by the way, I'm back in SoFi. I bought more SoFi after they reported, because I think the sell-off is overblown. Their EPS was poor because of a one-off purchase. We could talk about that all day. But I bought back in, and I'm holding on, and I'll probably add more if it goes even lower. So I like SoFi here, NVIDIA as well after the report. And Netflix, I'm also looking at NFLX. They're up about 1.5% right now. The stock is clearly holding an uptrend at a higher low, but we're under the main moving average at about 520. That's the 180 moving average here on the 4-hour chart. So in my opinion, for me to be comfortable to trade Netflix, I want to see it break over 520 and probably past 525. That'd be ideal. That'd put it above both moving averages and the high point from the 5th of August. And from there, I think Netflix could fill the gap towards the top of this wedge, whether it's 560, 565. I think that is where it could ultimately get to. Facebook is another one that I'm personally looking at here. This hit 377 back in the end of July, so about 2-3 weeks ago. From there, it got to 350. That lost about 7-8%. It held the moving average, the 180 moving average, and now it's trading back over both moving averages, with it clearly being in a wedge. So I like the way we're making higher lows and lower highs here. I think we could end up ultimately breaking out of this wedge at about, let's say, 365, 367. So I'm going to put an alert right in the middle of that 366 mark is at or above. So we'll get alerted if this breaks the wedge. And from there, who knows? Maybe we get 375, 377, 380. That could be a decent trade on Facebook. And a bank stock that I like right now is JP Morgan. JP Morgan broke out of the wedge here on the 4-hour. It's trading above both moving averages. We're noticing a golden cross as well. The 50 is crossing above the 180 SMA. And recently we broke above 158. Now we got to 162 yesterday. Now we're at 160. So I want to see if 160 holds, 158, now that we're pulling back about 1% on the day. If this is able to hold as support after we're getting a little profit taking, I think buyers could step in 158, 160 and push this thing up to the mid-high 160s. And let's say 158 breaks. Don't be surprised if this goes to the moving averages here on the 4-hour, guys, probably at about 155. 154. That is where we might be going to. But overall, my target on the upside is 165 to 168. In general, that is where I'm looking for this bad boy to go. That's JP Morgan. And the last one for today is none other than Tattooed Chef, which I just bought more of today in the 1740s, as it is down 15%. And I'm a man of my word. I told you guys, look, if Tattooed Chef were to fall back into the teens, 18, 9, I was ready to buy it at 19, but hey, I'll take it at 17. If it were to fall into the teens, which I said this recently, I was going to buy more, and I did exactly that. I bought more about 30 minutes ago at 17, 40, 45, something like that. And I averaged down. Now my average cost, I believe, is in the 18s. And this is a long-term position for me that, quite honestly, I'm cool with it falling even more. I'm cool with adding more to this stock. And we mentioned it yesterday, how the price to sales was like a 6 or like a 7 or something. Now that it's down 15%, it's got to be even less than that. So, the market cap is now $1.4 billion. Let's say they do $250 million in sales this year. That's about a 5.5 price to sales, which I believe is not that bad considering the growth that Tattooed Chef has ahead of itself the next 3-5 plus years. So I like this company, guys. I like this stock. I love the product. I like the balance sheet, the stock, the growth prospects, and the trend of people eating healthier, and being more conscious of what they're putting in their body. That is definitely here to stay, in my personal opinion. And I think Tattooed Chef is a great way to get exposure to that. And I'm not saying this is my biggest position. It's not even close to my big. It's one of my smallest positions, actually. But I believe in the space, and I think, could this be a $5 billion company? Sure. Could it be a $10 billion one day? For sure. So I think there is upside from here. And a company like this, like we saw with GNOG, DraftKings buying them out, who knows? Tattooed Chef could be bought out. We could wake up one day and the stock could be up 100%. Who knows? We could get news that, Beyond Meat bought this. I don't know, a grocery chain bought them. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm just playing hypothetical here, or, potential scenarios. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up the video here, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. And check out my Patreon. If you guys want all my real-time buys, sells, call-outs, a morning update video, exclusive content, and just more access to me throughout the day, that's all on Patreon. Link down below. Or you guys can go to StasSurFest.com/Patreon. That's StasSurFest.com/Patreon. I'll see you guys there. And you can get your $50 from M1 Finance. Use my link down below, deposit $100, and we each get $50 to invest with, guaranteed. That is linked down below, and that's it. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching again. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend. Peace out.